Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm here at Crypto Nation. Just want to say thanks to my recently new subscribers. So here's a new episode of Crypto Nation Reacts. The title of this video says "Watch this before September 17th," and then it says "Final Warning." So let's see what they're talking about here. Um, let's see what exactly. I guess they're trying to say that the Bitcoin is gonna like crash or something like that. But anyways, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button for post notifications. And let's get started here, see what they're talking about on this episode.
They have been at the precipice of downturns in the market.
Will September rate cuts actually crash the price of Bitcoin? Before we get to this, I have a big update to share with you. I'm curious what you think about this story. Breaking news. You might like Kamala Harris, you might not like Kamala Harris, but if you hold crypto, she wants your vote, and she is slowly updating her crypto policies to get it. When either US presidential candidate makes a statement about crypto, I will update you. That's why you subscribe to Altcoin Daily. We give you an edge as a crypto investor. So take a look at this. Coinbase's chief legal officer just shocked Wall Street, revealing that Kamala Harris's campaign has been working closely with Coinbase to develop and update her administration's crypto policies.
We've been in touch with both sides, both the Trump campaign and the Harris campaign, as they develop their crypto policies and begin engaging with the crypto voter. And I will say that certainly the Trump campaign has been more explicit in embracing specific concrete proposals for crypto and digital assets more generally. But we've been encouraged that even as the current administration under Gary Gensler continues with its campaign of regulation by enforcement, the Harris campaign, which of course stands separate from the administration, has reached out, has expressed an interest, and has begun discussions about what a new approach to crypto and digital assets could look like.
And now Kamala Harris has started accepting crypto donations for her campaign.
Canva presents the top plays at work. Number 3. Here's the snap.
This is exactly how Trump started. I would love to see her adopt more of Donald Trump's crypto policies. Do you think she will? Which Donald Trump crypto policies do you think she will adopt?
On day one, I will fire Gary Gensler. I will appoint a new SEC chairman who believes America should build the future, not block the future. Upon taking office, I will immediately appoint a Bitcoin and crypto presidential advisory council. I will ensure that the future of crypto and the future of Bitcoin will be made in the USA, not driven overseas. I will support the right to self-custody. I will keep Elizabeth Warren and her goons away from your Bitcoin. It will be the policy of my administration, United States of America, to keep 100% of all the Bitcoin the U.S. government currently holds or acquires into the future.
Let's go to the experts. Let's go to the insiders.
I'll say one thing I did like, Donald Trump. He was at the Bitcoin conference. Kamala Harris didn't show up to the Bitcoin conference, so I kind of feel that Harris is not really being genuine about it. But I think Trump was more genuine. He also said that he'll use Bitcoin to help pay off the national debt. But yeah.
What will a Kamala crypto presidency look like? What can we expect if Kamala's administration is making the crypto policies? What is Coinbase encouraging her administration to do?
Under a potential future Kamala Harris presidency, you might have different leaders when it comes to regulation. What did she say?
We almost certainly will have different leaders emerge. And of course, top of mind for many of us in the crypto industry is the SEC, but there are a number of agencies in the federal government which will play an important role in the development and evolution of this industry. What we're hearing is that there still remains, I think, an open mind to a new approach to crypto. We think the most important new approach is embodied in legislation which has passed the House. That's, of course, the FIT21 bill, which provides for market structure for crypto and important investor and consumer protections. And that legislation is now being considered by the Senate. And so we expect, even as the presidential campaign roars ahead, we're going to see progress in the fall on that legislation and hopefully an embrace by both parties of the structure and certainty it would provide.
So, will September rate cuts crash the price of Bitcoin. Because, for context, despite Q4 being historically good for Bitcoin, September is historically bad. I've heard some people saying that September will be a bloodbath for Bitcoin, and even with rate cuts, the rate cuts will actually cause worse market conditions for Bitcoin.
We've got Sean Farrell. He is Fundstrat's head of digital asset strategy. Sean, we have been talking a lot about how September is historically the worst month of the year for equities. Is September a tough month for Bitcoin as well?
Historically, it is the worst month. I think if you look at the historical averages, September really is the only month in which Bitcoin has an average negative return.
So, will September rate cuts cause even worse market conditions for Bitcoin? Fundstrat's head of digital assets has some insights on this. He shares what Fundstrat is focused on and what they're advising their high net worth clients to do.
For us, we do think you should account for that seasonal effects, but really be more focused on what the Fed's doing, how liquidity conditions are looking, and make sure that any of these macro factors are superseding any broad seasonal factors that people just slap onto analyses.
Fundstrat's head of digital assets says you need to take into account the big picture. There are macro catalysts you need to focus on, a lot bigger than just Fed rate cuts. Listen, let him explain.
What are the biggest events that are still left this year for crypto that investors should be keeping tabs on to try and figure out what the long-term kind of lead looks like for not just Bitcoin, but Ether and even some of the altcoins as well?
Yeah. So the big thing is obviously you had just alluded to the jobs numbers this week. I think rate cuts, I think a lot of the market right now is skittish about rate cuts, frankly, because historically, they have been at the precipice of downturns in the market. But, rate cuts are not necessarily bullish or bearish without, taking into account the context in which those cuts transpire. And so, our money is still on the soft landing path. I think a lot of the softness in the labor market isn't as much reflective of a business cycle turning so much as the labor force expanding. And so, I think once we get some soft but non-recessionary jobs numbers, hopefully this week and, next month, we'll have more investors skew away from that recessionary risk and back towards soft landing into year end, which is very constructive for crypto prices. And then the other thing, obviously, is the election. I think it would be silly not to view the election as a critical factor that will come into play when thinking about crypto prices. We kind of, our in-house view is that if Trump were to get elected, that would certainly slap on a premium to crypto asset prices, Bitcoin, a lot of alts that will now have a clearer path forward in terms of market structure and legislation that will support their growth here in the U.S. And so certainly that is another factor to contend with as we go into year end.
So the biggest question is, how is Fundstrat advising their clients to act? How are they advising their clients to move their money? I'm surprised he actually shared with us exactly what they're doing, how they're thinking, and most importantly, what they're actually advising their clients to do. Guys, make sure you're subscribed to Altcoin Daily. We keep you updated on crypto markets daily. If you're interested in making money in crypto, make sure you subscribe. I'm going to leave you with this alpha from Fundstrat.
I think it's important to step back from a high level and understand acute trading risks versus cyclical downturn risks. And if you step back and listen to Hal at Jackson Hole and think about the Fed's positioning around markets right now and how they've shifted focus away from inflation towards employment, they've kind of taken away the right tail, or should I say the worst case scenario for crypto, which would be a stagflationary period in which real growth is slowing and the Fed has to, step up and be hawkish regardless of that fact because inflation is soaring. That's what we had back in 2022. That is the cause of a cyclical downturn. Liquidity conditions tighten and we possibly head for some economic calamity. That right now is not on the table just due to the posturing from the Fed. And so you kind of have the scenario where you have either a soft landing and the business cycle continues to expand, liquidity continues to expand, or you have a recession in which I will concede there is significant, acute downside risk, but we are certainly going to meet any kind of recession with more easing, more liquidity, and in which case, Bitcoin will be the fastest horse out of there. And so the long tail cyclical risks are kind of off the table. I think heading into Q4, certainly we recommend keep a little dry powder on hand for any kind of downside volatility. That's how we're advising clients right now. But we do think overall the risks skew to the upside.
All right, that does that episode. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And we have currently we have Bitcoin at let's see here. We currently have Bitcoin at 56,000. It look like it's dipping somewhat. So yeah, let's keep a close lookout on it. But anyways, there we have it. Thanks everybody for tuning in. That's my episode of Crypto Nation Reacts. See you guys in the next one. Peace.